Guest is an absolute superstar, Teak. As you know, just wrapped up season number 5, back-to-back rushing titles, busted the 2,000-yard mark this season. He's one of the true stars of the NFL. He's a beast and really one of the good guys, too. Titans running back Derrick Henry back with us. Hey, Derrick, welcome back. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
We are good. Congratulations on your success, man. I got to tell you, I was doing the Raiders-Broncos week 17 of the season, and I came to the game looking at your statistics, and God, he needs 223 yards. There's no way he's getting a 2,000. I'm not going to lie, I was more distracted by your game than I was by the game that I was actually calling. How awesome of a season was it for you? You rushed for 200 yards 3 times this past season. How amazing was it from your perspective?
Man, for me to have 200 yards 3 times that season really just speaks of, like, the teammates on offensive line, receivers, tight ends, fullbacks, blocking. Those guys do their job to make my job easier. And, when they're rolling, I'm rolling. So, all the credit goes to them. But it's a special season, being able to, have that moment with them and getting the 2K because, they all take a lot of pride. We all take a lot of pride in having success in the run game.
Yeah, no. Once an offensive lineman, has that sense that we got something good going, you don't need to do anything else. Just turn around and hand it off to number 22. Derrick, let me ask you, like the early part of your career, because BT and I met you right after you won the Heisman. You were in studio with us, and I remember saying, "Dude, this guy is jacked, enormous. This is Brandon Jacobs times 2." But those early years, you had 110 carries, you had 175 carries, and then just over 200 carries your third year, and then all of a sudden this explosion. Was this something that changed with you, or did the Titans just view you differently? What was the difference?
My first 2 years, I was behind DeMarco Murray's different coaching staff, and then that coaching staff had left, and then Coach Brable came in on my third year, and that still didn't start the way I wanted to, but it ended in a good way. And then from there, everything was just rolling. And I think the scheme that I'm in now, it fits so perfectly, and I'm able to, get the carries, to be able to get in the rhythm, and be able to have dominant games and do those type of things. And it's just, that mindset of, being the starter and, being the playmaker, making plays, for your team to put them in the best position to win games, that, you just take on that role and try to do the best you can to, help your team each and every Sunday. And that's just how it's been since then.
Well, that's what's so interesting about your rise here. We're talking to Derrick Henry, of course, Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. And Tiki mentioned only 110 carries your first year, and each year the usage rate's gone up, almost 400 this past season. And, we always wonder because we talk about the running backs and the contracts and the shelf life. And, how did you feel when the season's over, pads are off for good? Like, did you feel physically shot, or do you feel like I could do this 5-6 more years? I know you just turned 27. Happy birthday, by the way. How'd you feel?
Oh, yeah, appreciate it. I feel good. After we lost against the Ravens in the first round, I was pissed. And that's just how I always am. My worst critic. I was beating on myself. Feel like I should have played better to help us win. And probably like a day or two after that, went back to working out and been working out ever since, getting ready for next year. My body feels good. I know 378 carries is a lot. And then, last year and then the playoff run. But my body feels good. I'm ready to go, and I continue training just so I can be ready for next season.
Yeah, I know. You talk about that playoff game, and it's obviously disappointing. From your perspective, though, people are going to gear to stop you. But that hasn't always prevented you from having big games. In fact, people always ask why you're one of my favorite running backs. I'm saying I tell them because in the 4-minute drill, Derrick Henry hits his head on the goalpost. Right? Most people get 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You take them for touchdowns. So as you think about what happened in that playoff game, how do you all as a team get better and give you more opportunities because you're the catalyst for this team?
Yeah, well, I just think that, they played better than us that first round playoff game and, on all 3 phases. And we didn't play to our standard, our style of football. And for us coming from the AFC Championship a year before and then losing the first round, I think that's all the motivation you need to be hungry, wanting to come in, hitting on all cylinders on all 3 phases and use that as motivation coming into next season. After all the off-season stuff with the free agency and the draft, all that set in stone. Now it's time to focus on what we need to focus on. That's bringing the Lombardi Trophy to Nashville, and that's always going to be the goal as long as I'm here, and I'm sure that's speaking for every player that's on the roster.
The one thing that's interesting about the Titans, and you guys you just mentioned the AFC Championship game, Derrick. I mean, you guys were right there. You get a break here, you make a play there, you're playing for the championship. So, you're knocking on the door, and there's not a huge difference in talent. Tiki and I both know you guys are well coached. We like Vrabel a lot. But it was a little streaky last year. You guys race out of the chute. I think you were 5-0. Then you lose 3 out of 4. If they said, all right, Derrick, and I know they don't do this with running back. They don't even really do it with quarterbacks. But if they said, Derrick, what do we need to focus in on the draft to close the gap with Kansas City, whomever else you view in your way, what would you tell them to do? What would you recommend?
Well, really, I don't really, really try to tell someone how to do it. Not really trying to tell someone how to do their job, but I mean, everybody has a job, and we have our job for a reason because we consider that we know what we're doing. We're good at it, and I trust our front office to make those decisions to add pieces to our team to help us and take us over that hump that we need. Mm-hmm. On all 3 phases, on both sides of the ball, and I trust that they'll do that. But at the end of the day, it's about how we play, how we go out there each and every Sunday, and in the playoffs, playing as a team to be able to get to Super Bowl and be able to hold that trophy up. So, like I said, no excuse on our end. We didn't play better this year, but like I said, it's always great to add pieces in free agency and draft guys that can come in and help us and take us over that hump. But I think our front office do a great job of seeing what we need to do and who we need to get to take us to the next level.
All right, Derrick, I know Chris Johnson definitely reached out to you, but have any of the other 2,000-yard rushers reached out to you? OJ probably hasn't, so let's forget him.
OJ did. Yep,
he did? Oh, he did? Really? What did they say? What did he say?
He didn't reach out to me personally, but I think he put on Twitter a video congratulating me. And it was so cool because he was saying that I was going to break 2,000 yards before the season even started, which I appreciated. And Barry Sanders, I talked to Barry Sanders. Who else?
Because TD is one. Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson.
Jamal Lewis. That's the one people forget. Jamal Lewis of the Ravens.
Lewis.
And then Adrian Peterson. Yeah.
Adrian Peterson. That's my boy. Like I said, Chris reached out. Terrell Davis. Jamal Lewis. Like you said, Jamal Lewis. I love Jamal Lewis.
So they all reached out to you. Yeah. They all showed the respect.
That's cool, man. I mean, that's an elite club, like an elite club. The other thing, and I mentioned this before.
Can I ask a question for Tiki real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing I always admired about your game growing up is the way you carried the ball.
Yeah, high and tight, man.
I always wanted to ask you that question, like how, it never left.
Yeah.
From being high and tight the whole time you had the ball, no matter what run you were running.
You want me to tell you the real reason why?
Go ahead.
Because of my head coach. So it was really my running back coach, Gerald Ingram, who taught me that technique. And he's like, when you're going through contact, just put it up there high and tight. And so I did that. But Coach Coughlin used to just grill me about keep it high and tight. Keep it high and tight. And so I was finally like, all right, well, screw you then. I'm going to keep it high and tight the whole time. And it actually made me more compact. Like it made me more of an explosive runner, which is why I was able to have, some 200-yard games. In fact, I had a season where I rushed for 200 yards 3 times, which brings me back to the question I was going to ask you, Derrick. You've already done this 5 times. 200 yards in a game is not easy. You've done it 5 times in your short career. Adrian Peterson and OJ have the record at 6. So you're tied with me now. I know you're going to break it. Do you think about those things like 200-yard days? 120-yard days are big days, but are you thinking about, man, this could be a 200-yard day when you go into each Sunday?
And what's so funny is like whenever we are in the game and we're rolling, the offensive line is like, hey, we're going to get 200. Let's get 200. They always the one that's feeling it, and it's so crazy. Like you know, you're in that game, you're in that rhythm. You can feel, that the runs just keep coming on, and that's how my offensive line is. It's like, let's get 200 yards, and they get in that rhythm. They get hyped. They start pushing people off the ball, and the rest is history.
Derrick, I got to ask you this. So I used to be a huge, not so much anymore, back in the day, old school wrestling fan. And two of my favorites, Tiki knows this, Macho Man used to go off the top rope. He was phenomenal. And Hulk Hogan used to do this big leg drop. He's like 6'7", 320. He would just hammer you with his leg. That was their finishing move. Your finishing move is the stiff arm, all right? So I need you to take us through the early stages, whether it's Josh Norman, and there's been others that have been roadkill. When you get ready to unleash that, what amounts to a Mack truck moving another man off the ground, how early do you spot that player and, like, the preparation for the delivery of the stiff arm? Take us through it.
Yeah, it's so funny because we have a helmet on the stick at practice that Coach Brady will make sure I work on every day, just so I time my stiff arm right and I use it effectively. But whenever I'm in the game and, you know, I'm one-on-one with a defender, which usually the DB, the ones that I usually stiff arm, I always anticipate them going low because I'm a tall guy, have long legs, and usually DB try to cut your legs out. But some of them try to come high sometimes. And when they do, I'm like, I got to catch them. And usually when I do, I make sure I catch them right, either on the crown of their helmet or either on the shoulder, just so when I push them that, you know, I'm able to knock them to the ground. And it's worked pretty good this past year. Hopefully I can keep it going.
Do you say anything when you dump them, or you just keep your mouth shut?
No, you can't.
Well, I don't know.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I don't say anything. I'd be so caught in the moment that I don't even be like thinking about it after the game. And then once I get to the locker room after the game, look at my phone is going crazy.
Yeah, you got the memes all over social media.
All over.
I got to tell you, the greatest thing about that story, Derrick, is that it's not accidental. You're actually practicing that. That's pretty amazing.
Practice every day.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.